factory, we make a clean sweep.
And give cutting boards the chop.
Then, we win it all with a royal flush.
But first, settle in and grab yourself a drink.
Introducing the iconic Nalene water bottle.
Ooh.
Yes, once a niche product for the rough and tumble outdoorsy type, it's now an essential piece of daily life at home.
But just what makes a Nalene bottle superior to, well, just about anything that holds water?
Well, to find out, we're headed to Nalene's 97,000 square foot facility in Fairport, New York, where we'll ask Eric Henson, Director of Sales and Marketing, that very question.
It's a very beefy, very robust bottle. We had a lifetime guarantee, so if for some reason something unfortunate happens, we'll replace the bottle.
Something unfortunate like being dropped?
We drop the bottle to make sure that it doesn't break.
Right, we're dropping it on purpose. Okay.
The Nalene bottle starts with BPA-free plastic pellets, which are stored in these giant silos. Each silo can hold over 35,000 kilograms of pellets.
The pellets travel into the factory via these overhead pipes. Then the pellets arrive in these hoppers, where they're mixed with colored pellets.
Each batch uses 20 kilograms of color, and today we're making blue, which is Nalene's signature color.
It's pretty amazing. Just a little bit of that colorant, gives that really deep, rich, vibrant color.
The mix of pellets and colorant is melted and then flows into the injection molding machine.
The molten plastic is blown into a mold around a core. The bottle shape is then inflated by 150 psi's of air. That's 150 pounds of pressure per inch.
This is Don, and he is also dropping a bottle.
Do you drop all the bottles, Don?
No. Not at all.
So how many bottles can this machine make?
We'll make about 4,300 bottles a year.
That's more than 8 million bottles a year. I'm such a math whiz. The blown bottles travel down a conveyor belt, where they're inspected by Deborah. Hi, Deborah.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, brother.
Looking great, Deb.
That's because I drink a lot of water.
Listen, don't mind him. Deborah inspects and packs the bottles and then sends them off for printing. Nalene bottles come labeled with liquid measurements and a logo.
Printing is done by this lightning-fast machine.
And here to tell us how it works is this guy. Hi, what's your name?
What was that?
Yeah, I got nothing. Let's go talk to Eric again.
It's a silk screening process. It's a really fancy piece of equipment that robotically picks up the bottle, and then it places it, and then it basically rolls it as the inks go by, and then it flips it up, and it takes it through this tunnel that basically cures it, so it cures the ink to the side of the bottle.
Is there any way we can see that a little slower?
Cool.
Much better.
Labeled bottles head down this conveyor belt where they're lidded. Wait a second. Where did these lids come from?
Darn it! Back to the pellets.
The lids and straps for Nalene bottles are made out of the very same plastic pellets as the bottle.
This time, after the black colorant is added, they go directly to these injection molding machines, which form the liquid plastic into lids, straps, and buttons.
And this is Loretta. She's manning the vibrating conveyor belt for the lids.
Just look at those lids, shimmying their way to freedom like sentient hockey pucks. Be free, lids, be free.
Put a lid on it.
You're right, I'm getting carried away.
The lids and buttons are loaded into these giant funnels.
The buttons fall into trays, and a worker adds the strap by hand. Then the machine drops a lid on top, and the three pieces are fused together by a process called ultrasonic welding.
Yeah, just like rubbing your hands together creates heat, this machine rubs the pieces together so fast that the surface melts, fusing them together.
And now they can be put on top of the bottles by this fun crew.
Smile pretty for the camera. Bottles from each run are tested to make sure they're the right color, are smooth on the inside, watertight, and can support up to 2 kilograms of weight.
Which is a good thing since people use these bottles for just about anything.
The multi-purpose bottles go through another machine which drops a protective plastic sleeve over them.
Then they're packaged 6 to a box, sealed and palletized, ready to be shipped out to Eric?
I have 9 million. I actually have a cupboard. It's so big that when I open it up, bottles start to fall out. And about every month, my wife says, all right, time to have the friends over, time to get rid of the bottles. And so maybe once a month, we have our friends over and they take the bottles and the cupboard goes back to being bare. But then inevitably, it fills up again.
Let's just say they're sent to all the homes where water drinkers live.
So everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Beloved by clean freaks and witches alike, the rest of us never really pay much attention to the common household broom.
Very true. And it's always there for you when you need to make a clean sweep.
So to give it its due, we're headed to Birdwell Cleaning Products' 60,000 square foot facility in Burleson, Texas. Yeehaw!
These fine gentlemen are Dave and Greg Birdwell, the father and son team behind Birdwell Cleaning Products. And they're going to answer all of our questions about brooms.
Because you wanted to know how fast it'd fly. And that you're going to have to check with my wife.
I am not saying that about my wife.
Good call. Take 2.
The corn broom is an iconic household cleaning tool.
And today, we're making Birdwell's indoor-outdoor broom. The magic begins with these 70-kilogram bales of broom corn.
What's broom corn?
The stalk of broom corn looks like corn on the cob. Instead of an ear of corn, you'll have a stalk of broom corn.
In fact, it was Benjamin Franklin who first introduced the broom corn crop to America.
That Benjamin. Is there anything he didn't do?
Maybe he didn't sweep very often.
Yeah, probably too busy flying kites.
The broom corn is sorted into small bundles. And then it's taken for a dip.
This is Freddie, and he's been with Birdwell for basically ever.
Probably. Pretty close.
And what do you do with all this broom corn, Freddie?
Well, you just take it and you dye it.
And why do you dye it?
Make the brooms look better.
Can we see how?
Okay, I'll show you how to do it. You hold it down, make sure the dye goes through the whole bundle of corn.
Oh.
Okay, this has got a pretty green to it. It's got the right color.
Very nice.
We leave other brooms green with envy.
The dyed broom corn dries, and then it goes to a broom winder. A broom winder! That's gotta be a pretty impressive machine.
First name is Kenneth, and I'm a broom winder.
Wait, what?
Yes, the brooms are still handmade today, and it takes good hand-eye coordination and an awful lot of patience.
Yeah, that's 2 things I don't have.
Good thing Kenneth can whip up a broom in no time flat.
All right, that was too fast. Let's take that a little slower, okay?
First, Kenneth attaches wire to the broom handle. Then he winds it around the first few layers of corn, adding as he goes.
To make the shoulders of the broom, he winds some fibers on upside down and then flips them while still winding the wire around.
This looks really difficult.
Nah, can't be that hard, right?
It takes time to teach someone how to wind a broom, and it could take up to 3 months before they are making a good broom.
Kenneth adds more layers and winds up the steel. Then he puts a nail in the end of the wire and trims off the excess. What are you going to do next, Kenneth?
Fit.
Oh, okay. After they're built, the brooms are seated, which pulls out any loose fibers that weren't wired to the handle in the winding process. Then a cover for the top of the handle is attached. Birdwell makes 400 handmade brooms each day.
The brooms are hung on racks and sent into an oven at 50 degrees, which will remove any excess moisture so the fibers don't mold. And after being baked for 45 minutes, the brooms head off to Gail, who is a broom champion.
I got this stitched up.
Gail clamps the broom into the stitching machine and winds twine around the bristles.
Then, Gail and the machine sew 4 layers of stitching through the bristles to make sure it stays strong through vigorous sweeping.
And now that Gail's done her part, she can head on home.
And by the way, I gave up my car years ago.
Stitched brooms head to Donna. She's got great hair.
I'm fixing to give this bad boy a haircut.
Donna trims off the broom so all the fibers are the same length.
And then it's time to test them out.
Sweep! Sweep! Hurry! Hard!
The finished brooms are packaged by hand with a retail card and boxed.
Well, an all-corn broom is by far the best broom to sweep with.
Which is why it's the broom of choice for neatniks everywhere.
I can see why. Look at that guy go.
Well, after all, vacuums suck. Mops are all wet, but brooms, now that's a craze that's sweeping the nation. Ah, the cutting board. A countertop's best friend, and the only thing that protects it from those pesky and aggressive knives.
But this isn't just any cutting board we're talking about. This is the Jelly Chop and Scoop.
Which, incidentally, was also my nickname in high school.
Yeah, I'm not even going to ask about that one. We're heading to the 200,000 square foot Dex's factory in Coppell, Texas, home of the Jelly Chop and Scoop, where they produce over 4 million cutting boards a year.
Right. And this fella with the killer coif, leaning on a railing, is Dex's director of marketing, Jeff Logan.
It's certainly weird looking.
I thought you were the director of marketing. Sell me on the Chop and Scoop.
There's no other cutting board like the Chop and Scoop because it's patented for its utility and its design. And it also could not be more functional in being able to prepare food on one counter and being able to swing around with it and direct foods into a pan or bowl without anything getting on the floor.
Ah, that's better. Tell us a little more about the company, Jeff.
Dex's was founded in 1969 by Ellis Shamoon, and a couple of years later, he was joined by his wife, Phyllis Shamoon.
Okay, hang on a second. Did you just make up those names?
No. Those are the people you lunched with.
Right.
Cutting boards begin their lives outside with this fella, Anthony.
How you doing?
Well, I'm a little hungry.
Yeah, my knee hurts a bit.
I'm here to deliver the raw material that they make their product out of.
Would you say you're a vital part of this process?
Yes, sir. This is where it starts, because without this, they can't make their end product.
100% virgin polypropylene beads arrive by tanker truck. Virgin polypropylene refers to plastic beads that have never been molded before.
Yeah, it takes over 6,000 plastic beads to make a single chop and scoop.
Dexis makes 10,000 cutting boards each day. That's over 60 million beads.
Each truck holds close to 22,000 kilograms of plastic beads. The beads are then delivered to large holding silos until they're ready to be brought into the factory. We have just the man to do it.
Jose dumps the plastic beads into a super strong bin. Then picks up the bin with his trusty forklift.
The beads are moved into the next room and loaded into a hopper. From here, the beads get fed into the plastic bead's best friend, the injection molding machine.
Then this luxuriously bearded man adds color to the mix.
My name's Saul. Basically, I'm a floater. Do all kinds of stuff, change color when it's needed, help anybody out, break people.
Say what?
Relieve them to go to break.
Oh, that kind of break.
Yeah.
This red liquid colorant will join the plastic as it enters the screw, which is hidden inside this stainless steel chamber. The screw mixes the melted plastic with the color and forces it into the mold with 500 tons of pressure.
All of the material that made this board was injected into the mold through this tiny little pinpoint opening. I just think that's amazing that the machine can generate such force with that screw assembly.
Once the cutting board is formed, a robotic arm with grab hands and suction cup fingers reaches into the open mold and removes them. 2 cutting boards can be made at the same time.
The robotic hand travels along a track that runs over the top of the machine.
The hands bring them over to the worker's position for finishing.
This is Chantel. She's a machine operator who loves apples and exudes confidence.
I'm a pretty big deal around here.
So is being a machine operator a difficult job?
I can do it with my eyes closed. It's so easy.
Chantel retrieves the cutting boards and makes sure they cool off before she scrapes up any excess plastic.
And Chantel also has a daily mantra she likes to repeat 257 times a day.
Chop, lift, scoop. There you have it.
And now it's off to Karen. She's responsible for adding rubber handles and putting the feet on the cutting boards so it doesn't slip and slide all over the place.
And this part of the process is top secret. Karen could show you, but unfortunately, if she did, she'd have to kill you.
Oh no, death by dimples.
Make sure the four piece, this one, everything okay?
Okay, and now for a final trim. Stickers are placed on the chop and scoop and sent off to the packing department where they're packed up in boxes of 6.
Then the jellied chop and scoop is sent off to the break room and to homes across the country to help chop up all your ingredients.
So, Jeff, can you sum up the jelly chop and scoop in 2 words?
Bright, bold, practical.
I don't want to be a stickler, but Jeff, that was 3 words. But we like your hair, so we'll accept that answer.
That salad is really coming together. I'm getting hungry. My name is the Mansfield Summit Series 1.28 GPF model with MagnaFlush technology.
Everyone else is seeing a toilet here, right?
It's not a toilet, it's a throne!
Oh, here we go.
And by royal decree, that throne
is manufactured here at Mansfield Plumbing's 500,000 square foot facility in Perrysville, Ohio.
Behold the king.
Okay, well, he's actually the president.
Oh.
His name is Jim Morando, and we're not interviewing him on the throne because that would be super weird.
Yeah.
He's on a swivelly chair, see? And just to be clear, we're not going to spend this entire time turning everything Jim says into a toilet joke.
Yeah, these toilets are really packing some American muscle.
And we're off. Mansfield Toilets begins their lives as a thin clay mixture known as slip.
Slip is made from water mixed with clay to give the mix its flexibility, flint, a natural strengthener, and feldspar, a natural mineral, which is used to lower the melting temperatures of liquids.
And that's going to be important later when the toilets get cooked.
The slip is pumped to the production line, where it's poured into plaster molds, hardening as it dries.
Leaving behind the solid toilet piece.
The toilet bowls are removed slowly by hand from their plaster molds.
You have to be very, very strong to handle a 70-pound piece and also be very gentle so you don't distort it in any way.
The tanks are removed by a series of neat robot arms.
Cool. Finished tanks and toilet bowls are sent to the drying tunnels, where they're cooked for 12 hours at 145 degrees Celsius to take any remaining moisture out of the clay.
Then it's time to paint the potties.
Ooh.
And that's the job of Caleb.
Yes, they call him the Picasso of the porcelain, the Warhol of the washroom, the Leonardo of the lavatory.
Just call me the Rembrandt of Mansfield.
That too.
A thick layer of glaze is applied to the lids by hand.
Mansfield goes through over 4,000 tons of glaze every year. That's enough to flush over 650,000 toilets. Whoa.
The toilet bowls arrive for painting on this conveyor. A dollop of glaze is poured in, then a burst of air spreads it across the bowl and through the connecting pipes.
That's right, you want to make sure that part's seamless so that waste can travel smoothly from the toilet into the sewage system. Seriously, can I not make a poop joke here?
This is a no toilet humor zone.
Sure, surrounded by potties. Can't catch a break.
I think people outside this building practice far more of that type of humor than we do internally.
Painted parts make their way into a large kiln, where they're left to cook and harden for 12 hours at a temperature of 1,200 degrees Celsius.
Okay, gonna get technical here. This is where the feldspar comes in handy. Remember the feldspar that went into the slip? Well, it melts first, then hardens to bond everything together.
The toilets emerge from the kiln with a glossy porcelain finish and are sent upstairs for a once-over.
A simple test determines that the china is strong. Then a stamp brands them for life. A proud moment for any toilet manufacturer, I'd imagine. Like watching your kids graduate.
There's two levels of being proud. One has to do with kids, the other has to do with toilets, but no. Okay.
Flush components are added by hand. Because at Mansfield, flushing is serious business.
Based on how efficiently they're designed today, you can probably get rid of your plunger.
Lovely. And with that charming image seared into our brains, we can proceed to packaging.
Where completed toilets are hand-boxed, sealed, palletized, and transferred to storage so that Canadians everywhere can enjoy a nice...
Hold it!
What?
Stop right there.
Huh?
I mean, you know I love it. We leave the factory, head to a nice suburban home, and see our product being used by an impossibly good-looking family.
Yeah.
But I think this is one instance where...
Gotcha.
Yeah, so let's just mosey on back into the factory and let Jim wrap things up with a neat summary.
We try to make sure that everyone here understands we're a manufacturer of fine after-dinner china.
And that, ladies and gents, is the classiest toilet joke you'll ever hear.